Okay, folks, I found a really interesting video that I think you might really enjoy. This is something that even at Harvard they're not really doing anymore. This is a teacher, I don't know exactly the entire context, but this is a teacher who uses this argument that the student makes and actually teaches the student how to respond with critical thinking as opposed to programmatic thinking, which is the popular narrative nowadays, especially at high schools and in universities. You were told what to think, but not how to think for yourself, because this is probably considered dangerous against the narrative. This guy should be the head of Harvard right here, because he's actually saying, in response to this kid's question about JK Rowling being transphobic and making transphobic comments online. And he says, well, before we go there, I'm going to ask you a few questions to break this down in your mind and see if we can use critical thinking rather than be programmatically led by what others have told you. Okay? This is not taught enough in any way in any schools right now because this is considered independent thinking. Critical thinking is not taught in schools for this reason. So let's go ahead and watch.
Want to talk about JK Rowling? Is that so? What's going on with that? What do you want to know?
Uh, she's had a pretty controversial past. I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you still like her work despite her bigoted opinions?
So let's get specific though. Let's define bigoted opinions. What opinions are bigoted? We're going to treat this as a thought experiment. I'm not going to say what's right or wrong or what way to think. The whole point is to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yeah.
So when you say bigot, you're starting with the conclusion that given her bigoted opinions.
Yeah.
So first, let's start with, does she have bigoted opinions? So when you say bigoted opinions,
She has had a history of being extremely transphobic, I've heard.
hey, you've heard. So what? Can you give me an example?
If you look at her Twitter, I think you can see a few things. If you want, I could try and find something.
See if you can find one.
So, one of these tweets that she came out with in 2019, she said, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real."
So you find that bigoted? What do you find about
It was deemed transphobic. I myself,
Do you find that transphobic yourself?
I don't really have an opinion on it, but I'm just going with what a lot of other people have said.
So let's pause there. Let's not go with what other people are saying. Let's try and learn how to critically think. So let's analyze the tweet ourselves. So that statement, do you see anything problematic? Disregarding other people's opinions.
She did try and pin some things on a specific group of people.
Where does she do that? Can you read that?
But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real.
So when I hear that, I'm interpreting that as meaning if a woman says that, saying that there's a difference between men and female and then be attacked as transphobic, I think that's what she's saying by attacking someone for stating that sex is real.
That is exactly what she's saying.
Is that transphobic to you?
So, to me, no. Stating that sex is real is not transphobic. It's just a fact of life. It exists.
So is there anything you disagree with in that tweet?
In that tweet, I can't really see anything that I myself disagree with, but I can see why some people would think, oh, this is offensive. We can't have that here or something. Because
Sure.
there's an apology tweet.
Let's read that. What did she say there? I read that.
I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so.
You see anything problematic there?
she's apologizing, so no, not really. If I could read it again.
It sounds like a very similar statement as what she was just saying. She's basically saying like, I have nothing. To me, this is what I interpret as. I have nothing against someone being trans.
Exactly.
It's your life, but you just don't get to impose on my. You can live how you want. I can live how I want.
Yeah.
And let's all,
Exactly.
So I guess now that we're looking at it like, oh, there's not much difference between me or her. Do you think it's fair that that she's being attacked by a large group of people, and people are calling her, like you said at the beginning of this conversation, you said, given the fact that JK Rowling is transphobic, how do you feel about Harry Potter? Now, retroactively looking at that statement, do you think that was the best way to phrase?
No, I feel like an idiot now.
It's okay though, but this is why we do this, to learn how to think.
Okay. So I just wanted to show you that, and I thought that was super interesting, by the way, because it's just so simple. Critical thinking, in one respect, is very simple, and she's demonstrating something so mature that I believe bad actors have infiltrated academia, the university system, movies. Everywhere we go, everything's been politicized, okay? And I can actually say that just from personal experience, because I would say back in the 2000s, early 2000s, back in the 90s, it was not like this. Even sports was not really politicized that much ever. But these ideologies and this identity politics of have infiltrated, and I believe by bad actors who have nefarious motives, have done this, and a small group probably, and have especially targeted young people, children, kids, who are trying to understand things, and they have infiltrated the education system to say, I'm going to grade you on whether you agree with me as a teacher, rather than how well you state your arguments for your position. Because when I was growing up, you actually got graded more on, even if you disagreed with the teacher, you could still get a good grade just as long as you stated your position well, or it was a well thought out argument. Now, that was a good teacher, but I remember the first time I confronted kind of a wokeness type mindset, which is identity politics, okay? Which is that, where I didn't know what it was at the time, but I remember the teacher was kind of angry with the class in general for many of the responses on this assignment, because they were like, well, half of you are wrong about something that really is an opinion. Like it's had something to do with liberty or something. And I believe there were people in that class who had made very good arguments for liberty, for having a free society or a free republic. And he disagreed with them, and they got bad grades because of this opinion, which is not right. They should have got graded on how well they stated their position. And he didn't do that. And that was the first time I confronted that bias. And so I just thought this was the best example in the world. This teacher is one of these few people that's left that has not allowed identity politics or ideologies or things to infiltrate his thinking. Rather, what he has done is just simply take this kid and go, okay, now wait a second. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Whether it's right or wrong, that's up to you, okay? So let's skip that part. I want to ask you, what is your opinion, though? You said you've heard rumors that, or you've seen posts where people had told you, so secondhand, they had told you that JK Rowling had said transphobic comments. And when they broke it down, they found out she hadn't really made transphobic comments at all. She just said, hey, women are women. If you want to be transgender, fine, but don't impose your beliefs and value systems on me, that forcing me to adopt your lifestyle or adopt that way of thinking. or to have to put on that lens through the rest of my life. You can't force people. And he discovered that it wasn't a matter of transphobia. It was a matter of she was saying something completely different. She actually said that transgender people can live the lives they want, women can live the lives they want, but don't impose those values on each other. Don't try to force that on somebody. And that's what it really was going on. But the kid, from his perspective, what he had heard was that, oh, she was transphobic. She had made transphobic comments. But when they actually looked at the comments and broke them down, and the teacher asked him about them, he said, do you believe this is transphobic? And the kid said, well, no. Now that I can actually see her comments, they don't really appear to be transphobic. He was saying you have the power within yourself to make these judgments and not go off of hearsay, not go off of what a mob is charging someone with, but go with their actual words or what they actually said. And then you can make a judgment based on your critical thinking skills, which is simply breaking it down by asking yourself a couple of questions like, is this what was really said? Is this what's really going on? Is there something else here going on? Do I need to actually read her words? Probably. Okay? And see them in context? Probably. And then he realized this isn't really transphobic if you break it down. So anyway, I just thought you would enjoy that. I wish there was more discussion like this in society that would rise to the top again, and kind of combat and push back on these bad actors who want to put out narratives of what to think rather than how to think. And so anyway, just food for thought, folks. And I really hope you're having a good day. I know I didn't say hi right off the bat. I just kind of went right into it. But I really do hope you're having a good day. And thanks for watching so much. And I will talk to you later.